talk to you, Catriona. Tell us a little bit about your childhood. As an academic now, how different was your upbringing to many of your contemporaries?
I grew up in a family where there was lots of poverty. So both my parents were heroin addicts. And as you can imagine, that resulted in us being hungry most days. So I went to school without food in my belly, without a hug. And yeah, it was a really difficult childhood. And it made it really hard for me to do well in education. Children expected to sit still every day. For hours every day. And when you've been through what I've been through, it was very hard to concentrate. So I didn't perform as well as what I could in education.
And you left school at 15. How then did you end up becoming an academic, writing books, winning awards?
I was really lucky that I was poor at a time where there was lots of investment in poverty and there was lots of investment in people like me. And so as a young woman who was living in a council house, who was on benefits, I really wanted to better my life, but I just didn't have any opportunity. I didn't know anybody who went to university, but I was lucky that when I wanted to change my life, there were all these systems and services in place to empower me. So I was lucky that I was able to go to a foundation year and I suppose take that first step into education. And that was a massive change for me. I actually learned, my schooling had taught me that I wasn't very clever because I failed. I didn't get my GCSEs. I didn't perform well. I actually thought that meant that I wasn't very bright. And then when I had an opportunity to go to university when I was 23 and the system was in place to support me, I learned this amazing lesson that I'm actually really, really intelligent. And I suppose that pushed me forward then. And I had lots of supports in terms of grants, childcare help, and that really was pivotal in me being able to engage in education in a meaningful way.
Do you look back on your school years and do you feel anger towards the system? You know, as you were saying, you were going into school hungry, you didn't have great role models at home to help you sit down and do your homework. Should more have been done for you at school?
I think I had an inconsistent experience in school. So actually, two of my teachers saved my life. If it wasn't for them two teachers, one of them actually used to change me every day and give me fresh underwear. Another one actually taught me about the wonders of Shakespeare and really went out of his way to ensure that I participated. But I had this inconsistent experience with my teachers and with education. So some people really didn't understand poverty and what that looks like in the classroom. So they had expectations of me that I just wasn't capable of reaching. And my belief is, I'm not angry now because anger doesn't serve me and doesn't help me in trying to make things fairer. But I do think that we need to improve how we see poverty and maybe design education in a way that reaches those on the margins. The ones who are already doing well, they're going to do well anyway. But I mean, there's girls like me in every classroom across England right now who have the potential to thrive like I am and contribute to the world, and we're not actually serving them in the proper way.
So from your book, what should we be doing to look out for our children these days?
Well, first thing is, I mean, reinstating free school meals across the UK for kids in poverty is that was the only meal I received in a day. So like if we really want to help the 800,000 children that are currently living in abject poverty or more, then I think reinstating free school meals and moving back to what we were doing 15 years ago, I'd say. That's the first thing. The other thing I'd say is I think we need to actually refresh how we train our teachers and look at what we focus on in terms of success in education. So like a young girl like me, I internalized my results. So the results are coming out. And because I didn't get 3 A stars, I didn't even get one because I left. I actually walked around for a long time thinking that I wasn't very intelligent and I wasn't as good as these other people who were going to Oxford and Cambridge. We really need to reflect on that. And not because it's charity, but because there's loads of talented people like me who are just not having the opportunity to thrive and to contribute to society in the same way that I am.
And there was a third final point, briefly.
Oh, the third final point is, I suppose we need to use our privilege. So what angered me most, I went to Trinity College in Dublin, one of the most affluent universities, and I didn't realize that people who actually go to university, they actually know that the system is flawed. They know that it's rigged and that there's kids out there who are really intelligent and really bright who are just not thriving because of their opportunity. So the final thing is, I think people who are privileged, who have the benefit of education, need to really reflect on what they're doing. If they're not making things fairer in society, then they're actually contributing to the inequality. And what that does is contribute to kids like me being suffering.
That's a really good point to end it on. Dr. Catriona O'Sullivan, thank you so much. We're going to have a quick look at the weather.